New Jersey Devils have a new head coach and a new general manager. Well, the general manager lost its interim tag, so let's break that down. Hello everyone, it's Brenton here from It's a Hockey Night. Let's jump straight into breaking down the New Jersey Devils. A few new hires down that way. So, they've obviously hired Lindy, Ruff as the head coach and Tom Fitzgerald as the general manager. Start with the GM, because I think that's where, there's a bit of interest there. So he was the interim GM since January 12th when Ray Shero was fired shortly after the Taylor Hall trade. Obviously, that wasn't the reason why, just. So Tom Fitzgerald was a player. He sort of, jumped around the league a bit, a lot of time at the Panthers, played for the Islanders, Maple Leafs. But his first head office job was hired by Ray Shero when he was director of player personnel and development. And then after that, he then became the assistant GM for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then when Ray Shero left for the Devils, he then became the assistant GM as of 2015 for the New Jersey Devils. When Shero was fired, he then got the interim tag, and after interviewing around the league with no real names, Pierre Maguire was one of the names. I mean, you're not looking too good if you're looking at him, but anyway, they decided to go ahead with dropping the interim tag for Fitzgerald and keeping him on. A lot of people are now sort of saying, it's because of the time during the deadline. He did quite well. I mean, here are all the trades they did at the deadline. I'll let you decide. So probably the biggest trade was the Coleman Trade. They were able to get Foot and a first-round pick for it. I think Foot is really going to be a really good player down the way. A really good defensive prospect outside of injury and obviously the whole COVID thing, putting an end to junior. I think there's a really good defender there. He was the captain this year. He'll have to go to pro next year. Because he'll age out, I'm pretty sure. So really good trade there. I think that's the one that everyone sort of leans to as that's a money deal. Everything else was just getting rid of expired contracts. I'll put the deals here. There's nothing too special. I mean, they got what they got. I think the interesting thing is they got Sami Vatanen, who was definitely not going to re-sign, and they got a few solid pieces for him. And he may only play 3 games for the Carolina Hurricanes if things don't go well in his play-in games. So that was a real win. Plus, he was on IR at the time or had an injury. So So all in all, a decent-ish effort. I didn't think it was gangbusters, but I guess with the tools that he had, it was a pretty good effort and enough for them to be yep, let's go ahead with this. So I don't have too many qualms with this, as long as there's a set plan for him. But obviously, this team is not good. It's pretty much on Blackwood at the moment to whether they can get wins or not, and that's a scary thought. We then go to the coach side, and this is where things get a little bit fun. So Lindy Ruff has been hired. I think this is one that's a little bit weird. This Lindy Ruff hire was mostly because they had Lafayette and Gallant being interviewed, who are obviously better coaches, but however, due to the fact that one of them wanted more money than they were willing to pay, especially with how bad the team's going to be, and obviously they're not going to get income anytime soon. They're not playing any games. And Gallant wanting, by the sounds of it, a bit more say over the roster, which doesn't really sit too well with the way the team's set and obviously the GM side of things. So they went with Ruff, which I think is an interesting choice, but probably the best choice for where they're at. And a lot of people aren't saying that. A lot of people are like, well, you should have tried to get one of these coaches. I mean, they're not really going to win anytime soon, so it's just about progression. This guy, Ruff, is an NHL coach. He's an NHL caliber coach. He did quite well with the Stars, especially in one of the seasons. But before that, they weren't doing the best, and he was kind of able to help them, move to that next step. So even though the Devils are so far away from that, I mean, there's a good 3 years of pain for Devils fans, unfortunately for them. A lot of moves in between, but I do think for the amount of money they're willing to spend and what they're able to get on offer, this is probably one of the better coaches that they could have got. So even though a lot of people don't like it because it's more of what could have been, I mean, Gerard Gallant coming in isn't going to help this team. Like, it's just not. Where I think Ruff, and I honestly think he probably would have left or taken another gig after a year or two to go somewhere that could win, just because this team's so far away from that. So I think Lindy Ruff is a coach that has probably handed his last head coaching gig, I would say, unless this becomes amazing and really works out. I mean, he's 60 years old now, so. But the one thing I would say is that he's probably going to be here for the next few years, so you know that you can get that solid output from him, and eventually build up these young players, hopefully. Because again, they're not winning anytime soon. There's no point changing the coaches when the team's this bad. You might as well get everyone sort of built up under him and go from there. Especially like they have massive holes everywhere. But anyway, so I just thought a nice quick vid on that. I mean, here are some of the 5-on-5 stats that Ruff had when it came to the Dallas Stars. Obviously, completely different lineup, but he does really have he has a thing in the league that he's a defensive coach, but he was able to get some good offense out of that Dallas team, and that was the way it was built. So he knows how to shift his opinion. I think he's definitely a defensive mindset, but he definitely knows how to shift with personnel. So yeah, I mean, who knows? Yeah, I mean, hopefully the Devils can get it back together, but they're just so far away from it. Like, they'll need a lot to get there. Anyway, guys, that is the whole video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe, because that really does help us out, especially the subscribe thing. If you haven't subscribed, that is the thing that helps us out the most. Otherwise, I have a video coming out this weekend about what the Devils roster will look like next season, and what they maybe can do in the off season to make that a little bit better. So that will just be a live video that will, have some pictures and stuff on the screen in front of me, and we'll build that out together. So any tips on that would be good in the description below, the comments down below. Otherwise, have a great day. See you and bye.